First of all, Paul is the ultimate gentleman. I mean, he is the epitome of a gentle man. And he's a very quiet but forceful leader.
Oh, Narnie. Narnie brings back beautiful memories. Narnie's a beautiful person, and the thing I probably like most about Narnie is her love for her family and reaching out for her love for other people.
In many ways, the marriage of Paul and Narnie Roll was a match made in heaven. He from Pennsylvania, she from Texas. The two worked in the airline industry. In 1950, the couple married and set up home in Dallas. Paul established Fidelity Underwriters, an insurance agency serving military personnel. The couple's household grew quickly, with the birth of 3 children, Lisa, Kevin, and Lori. Paul's business grew as well. In 1956, the company established offices in Tulsa, moving the family to Oklahoma. The family thrived, becoming active in the community and in the arts. Narnie, whose roots were in Texas, was sure that Tulsa was as far north as the family would need to move. But by 1962, Paul identified an opportunity that would lead the family to relocate one last time.
When he was a little boy, playing in the river, in a creek actually, with other family siblings and an uncle, and picked up a flat rock to see what was under it, and he dropped it and almost cut off his toe. His mom fixed that very calmly, but Dad is always looking under flat rocks for opportunities. We always say that about Dad.
Paul believed firmly, if you find a real need in business, you'll be successful. Paul sold his insurance business and bought 2 nursing homes in Bartlesville. As he put it, the purpose of his business was to care for people like you would want to be cared for yourself. Over the next several years, Paul established 3 new facilities in Bartlesville. A Rotarian for over 40 years, Paul served as president of the Bartlesville Rotary Club in 1992 and 93.
You could say that his scope of giving back is international, really. And I think that their children have grasped that same feeling and have perpetuated it.
You win some, you lose some, but of course Dad and Mom have won a lot more than they've lost. But they've taught us that lesson that you have to make a smart decision with the best information you have at the time, and they've always wanted to provide and give back to the community. So I thank you, Dad and Mom, for that legacy to myself and to Lisa and Lori, and then particularly to my 3 children.
Paul and Narnie had been avid supporters of the arts in Bartlesville. Narnie participated in the original advisory committee for the OK Mozart Festival, which first launched in 1985.
There's really something very special about Narnie that could be more special than almost anyone could say about anybody, and that is her musical talent of being a fine pianist. She plays fabulous cafe piano, and there's hardly been a party or an event where Narnie hasn't been there looking gorgeous, sitting by a grand piano, playing beautiful music.
Narnie's love for the local theater led the couple to donate a downtown building to Theater Bartlesville, providing the organization with its first permanent home since its founding in 1925.
Narnie was actually a conductor once of the Bartlesville Symphony. Now, this was not her official title. She won the chance to do that in an auction. She was the winner that year, and so what do we give this wonderful lady who's so supportive of the symphony? What do we give her to conduct? What did she want to conduct? And it turned out that we found the perfect vehicle, the music of George Gershwin, because Gershwin was the mix of classical and jazz, and that's Narnie all over the mix.
The success of my career as a concert flamenco guitarist is part of the legacy of the Roll family. They really believed in me, and they've provided support for my early study in Spain and have been my biggest fans and supporters for over 40 years. I so admire Paul Roll that I named my son after him. They're some of the finest folks I have ever met, and I love the way they bring their passion and purpose and persistence to really making a difference in the world.
Paul and Narnie's children have extended the pattern established by their parents. Lisa studied dance as a child and went on to dance professionally for 20 years. After her dancing career, she earned a master's in counseling and became a professional counselor.
Often people will say how calm I am in listening to them as a counselor at Samaritan Counseling. That really comes from Dad. Just naturally, he is there and present, and I feel like I get that from him.
Kevin followed his father's love for flying and served his country as a fighter pilot for the U.S. Air Force, rising through the ranks to lead combat missions and training operations. He retired as a decorated colonel. Lori pursued journalism and public relations, working for Senator Henry Bellman, and then as a Washington correspondent, and becoming an administrator of several healthcare facilities in Maine. In recent years, Lisa, Kevin, and Lori have all taken active roles in the family business.
I like to say that when you're in business together as a family, it's either the best of all worlds or the worst of all worlds. And in our case, we're so fortunate, it is truly the best of all worlds. Each one of us has a different area of expertise, and one of the things we do so well is making that work as a family unit.
During their 64 years of marriage, Paul and Narnie have made a mark in Bartlesville and beyond. They have built businesses that met real needs. They have supported the good of their community. They have distinguished themselves as benefactors of the arts and as contributors to humanitarian causes around the world. Paul and Narnie's legacy is established and continuing, carried on by the 3 children and their 4 grandchildren.
They will be remembered as gracious and generous and model citizens for us all. And as long as we have people in the community like Narnie and Paul Roll, Bartlesville will sail on into the future.
I've been very fortunate to have met this guy when I did. And it was just something that seemed like it was meant to be.
The night that I met Narnie was my first date with her. And I knew then that this is the kind of a woman I would like. And from that day forward, the story has progressed. And here we are today.
Thank you, sweetie.
Would you like to give me a kiss?
Love you, sweetie.
I hope so.
Yes. I'm grateful every day to still have this guy.